Hey guys, my name is Ryan. I'm going to be doing a video, and it might end up being a video series on the EFI Live AutoCal with tunes from BNR. Um, we're going to be doing it in the video on a 14 Chevy Sonic RS, but I don't really think it's going to change anything on different vehicles. Um, so anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. So what you're going to do is first we're going to install the software. So you're going to go to efilive.com, click downloads, download EFI Live. There's two different versions, version 8 and 7.5. Let's go ahead and download and install both of these. It's going to take a few seconds. While it's downloading, something I would also want to do is, if you see here, I've got a Bad News Racing folder. So if you don't know how to create a folder, you just right click on new and hit folder. Name it Bad News Racing. And then inside this folder, you're going to want to create two other folders, one named Logs and one named Tunes. So whenever you do logs on the AutoCal, this is where you're going to drag and drop them into before you email them to Jerry. And I'll show you that later on. And then once you receive new tunes from Jerry or recalibrations or whatever, you're going to save them into here before you upload them to the AutoCal. Another thing I would recommend is downloading Dropbox and putting this folder in your Dropbox folder. That way you've got cloud storage of your tunes. So if the computer crashes, you download Dropbox and install it on the computer, sign into it, and all of your tunes and logs are going to come right back. So let's see, this is still downloading. One of them's done, 8's done, so let's go ahead and install it. So next, I agree, next, that's fine, next. It will take a little bit of time to install. Something that's worth mentioning since we're waiting on the install anyway, I am doing this on a MacBook Pro. I have a boot camp version of Windows on here. This is Windows 10, but it is possible to do it on a MacBook, so don't be discouraged when they tell you it's only Windows. It will work on a Mac. So let's go ahead and install 7.5 as well. It's being a little slow. Next, I agree, next, next, next. Alright, so finished. And we can close the web down. And my stuff is moved all over the place. Okay, so once it's installed, these are the 4 applications that you're going to have. The first two are going to be version 8. The second 2 are version 7.5. We're only going to be dealing with the first 3. The last one there is if you were going to be doing the tunes yourself, which you'd need licensing and all that kind of stuff. So we're not even going to get into that. So the next thing we're going to want to do is get out your AutoCal. And I'm going to see if I can let you see what it looks like. So you're going to take your USB cable, go ahead and plug that into your computer. And then the other end of it is FireWire, so you're going to plug that into the bottom of this thing. Try to do it to where you can see it. So when it comes up, it'll say Bad News Racing, loading PIDs, and then it's going to say display DTCs. Okay, so we don't need to do anything on the actual AutoCal itself. So let's go ahead and open the software, EFI Live, Scan, and Tune. And the first thing I would do is check for updates. Next. Mine's completely up to date, but if yours isn't, go ahead and update it. Next thing we're going to do is check the firmware on the device. And mine is fully up to date. If yours isn't, go ahead and update it. I'm just going to double check here. Yeah, everything's up to date, so hit OK. The other thing I want to show you is this BBX file here. When you pull it up, if you go down to, actually that's not the right file, devices is what I meant. Okay, so if you click on devices and then hit read from the device, it's going to load the settings of your AutoCal. You can change the date format. I didn't touch any of this timing stuff, I just left it exactly like it is. Under display, I did switch it over to miles per hour. I don't know if it actually affects it. I don't think I've ever really looked to see. Didn't mess with anything in keypad. Under options, this is where your splash screen is that says Bad News Racing. You can change it to whatever you want. Obviously, I like to support Bad News Racing, so I'm going to leave it alone. If you switch it to Display Advanced Menu, it's going to open a whole world of new stuff on the AutoCal. It's more than I want to get into, so let's just leave it simple menu. And under logging, you can change the logging speed and that kind of stuff. I leave it on fast. I'm pretty sure that's where Jerry wants it. Didn't need to change anything in BBX or serial input output. So if you change something, you'll want to hit program. I haven't changed anything. It read directly how it was before, but I have changed stuff in the past. So if you change something, hit program, it'll update it on your AutoCal. If not, then you can just close it. And I'm not going to save anything. So, okay, so now we can close this down. Now that your AutoCal is successfully updated, now we need to do a stock read on your car. Okay, we're in the car now. We got the AutoCal, so we're going to go ahead and do a stock read. So what we're going to do is plug, I guess this is an RJ45 or an Ethernet cable. Plug it in the bottom here. And then the other end of that, the ODB2 one, I don't know if you can see it, but it is plugged in there. Okay. Then we're going to take our key, and you want to put it to the on position, but don't start the car. Okay. Now to get away from that annoying beep, I'm going to go ahead and shut my door. Okay, so now then on the AutoCal screen here, we are going to scroll down to read E78. So that's for your ECU. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Make sure you have the key in the right position, and then it's going to start reading. Now this will take some time because basically what this is doing is reading your stock ECU. It's downloading it to the device so that you'll have a stock file to send to Jerry. So this will take some time. So while this is doing this, I'll tell you what happened to my MyLink. It's got a white screen. I don't actually know exactly what happened. I think that it just went faulty. I've got an appointment next week. It should be covered under warranty. I mean, I've only had the car a year and a half. I don't know of anybody that this has happened to, at least not anybody that's said it. When you start the car, it gets like a white cloud that kind of goes across the screen, and then it turns white. and then it eventually goes black. But you can't get any music, no radio, no nothing. Now, if I put the car in reverse, the reverse cam comes up and the screen's not cracked or anything. So I don't know. We'll see what they say, but it should be covered under warranty. But that's, if you notice my screen, that's exactly what's going on with that. So now we're at about 54% on the read. I'm just going to let it sit here and do it. I am recording this from an iPhone 6, so if it seems shaky, that's why, because I'm actually holding it. %90. $95. Okay, so it says checking. It's saved the file. Now it's telling me ignition off. So I'm going to turn the key off. Go back to the AutoCal, and you're going to press OK. And now it's going to tell us to wait for 25 seconds. This is mostly to allow the ECU time to reboot, from what I've been told. Alright, and then now what I normally do anytime I mess with the car is make sure that it's going to start. Even though it was only a read, I do this anyways. Okay, so the car started fine. I'm going to shut it off, unplug the AutoCal, and we're going to go back inside. Alright guys, we're back inside, so go ahead and plug your AutoCal back into the computer. Something I forgot to mention while we were in the car, if you have an automatic, you'll want to do a read 2, which is for the T76. It's for the automatic transmission. So you'll want to do that if you're an automatic. Okay, so now we're going to go back and open EFI Live Explorer. And down here in the corner, of course, it says EFI Live. You got scan, tune, and read. Read is what we did. So this is your stock tune file right here. So what you want to do is, let's see here. Let's move this back up into the corner like this, and let's open Bad News Racing folder. Let's put it down here, that up there. Okay, so under tunes, which I have a lot of stuff under mine. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to drag and drop that. Yours will probably say E78_0001 because it's the first read you've ever done. So you'll want to click and drag that and drop that into your tunes folder. Okay. You can rename this whatever you want. You can rename it stock read, doesn't really matter, or stock. This is the file that you'll want to keep in your tune folder of the stock read of your car. So if anything ever goes wrong while you're on the road, you can plug your AutoCal in, return to stock, and that'll get you where you're going. And then you can, unless you've blown up the car or something, hopefully not, um, that'll at least get you where you're going. Then you can send a data log to Jerry, and you can go from there. Um, anyway, so let's hope that never happens. But it's always nice to put the stock tune on the AutoCal and leave it there. I've already got one named stock because I've already done this before. This stock-ish file, I have a downpipe, and I didn't want the check engine code, so Jerry removed it for me. So I actually leave this file on my AutoCal all the time. So anyway, so once you rename it stock or stockish, or if you have him take the codes out, you can do that. You'll want to put it in the tunes section. So we can remove the read file now that you've copied it into your tunes folder. So let's go ahead and delete that one. And click on tune, and we're going to upload the stock file. I'm actually going to upload my stock-ish file. So you just drag and drop. It's real simple, guys. I mean, anybody can do this. So while that's doing that, let's go ahead and open Internet Explorer or Chrome or whatever it is, whatever browser it is you use, and go to your email client. If it will load, it's being kind of slow. Probably because it's trying to put that stock file on the AutoCal. Alright, so I use Gmail, so okay, we're going to compose, and I always use Jerry at badnewsracing.net. He might want you guys to use support at badnewsracing.net. I'm not really sure, but I'm just going to, for purposes of the video, we're going to do Jerry at badnewsracing.net. And subject, let's do stock read. I'm going to attach a file, and we're going to go to desktop, Bad News Racing, tunes, and you guys would select E78_0001 or whatever you renamed it. So you'll do that and hit open. It's gonna load it into Gmail, and then you're just gonna send him a note. This is my stock read, and then you would hit send. Since I've already done this, I'm not actually gonna send him anything. So I'm just going to close that out and delete the draft. Alright, so once you send that to him, it's going to be a waiting process. You could message him on Facebook and say, hey, I sent you stock read. He's a busy guy, works 40 hours a week, plus tunes till wee hours of the morning. So whenever you get your, I don't know if it may be the BNR bass tune, or he might have done something for you and sent you a custom tune. Depends on what you ask for. Like I said, he's a pretty reasonable guy. He's going to do whatever tune you want him to do. So let's just use an example and take the last thing he sent me. So you'll get an email. You'll click download. So I'm going to hit download here. So it's pretty quick. I already got the file. Actually, take that back. That's not one he sent me. That was a log. Anyway, so here's the tune. It'll be a .ctz file, just like what you sent him. So let's go ahead and download that. Okay, so that's done. We can close that out. And so let's go to my downloads folder, because that's probably where it put it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so you're going to want to move this into your tunes folder. So I like to just cut and copy, so we'll cut it, and we'll go to desktop, Bad News Racing, tunes, and we will paste it in here. Okay. So now that you've done that, you will take this file and you will drag it into your tune folder as well. Um, I don't want to run that. I want to go back to my current tune, so I'm going to just load up my current tune. So you're just drag and drop it on there, let it load in there. So now on your AutoCal, you're going to have your stock tune and the custom tune he sent you. And whatever he names the file, you can rename it to whatever you want. Like I said, I did a read of whatever my current tune was, and before I started this video series, and I just named it current, and I'm going to throw that on there to show you how to load a custom tune. So it's real simple, guys. Just drag and drop. I like to keep everything organized in these folders, that way if I need something I can find it. Almost done. Alright, so now I've got custom tune he sent and the stock tune on here. Shouldn't have anything in read. We should have deleted that, and there should be no logs because we haven't logged anything yet. So now we're going to go back out to the car, and I'm going to show you how to load the custom tune, and I'll show you how to log, and then we'll discuss how you email the logs. Okay? Alright guys, we're back in the car. I've got the AutoCal hooked up, so we just need to turn the key to the on position. Again, don't start the car, just to the on position there. Okay, so to load a custom tune, we're going to scroll down. Okay, program 1, that's the stock file that I put on there. Program 2 is going to be the custom tune. You're not going to want to do this because this is the first time you're loading. You're going to want to go down to full, and then whatever you named your custom tune. You always want to do, on the first one, go ahead and do a full flash. So full 2, current, and here we go. Checking for the key again. Just checking the whole system. Erasing. And now it's flashing. The nice thing about this tuning with EFI Live is that you don't have to lug the laptop out. You got this little handheld you just bring in and out of the house. It just makes it real simple. Now, doing a full flash will take longer than a recal, which was the first one that you saw. Program, regular program, not full program. I'll show you how long that takes after I do a full flash and we start the car. Neither one of these take as long as some of the other tuning softwares that are out there, which is a great thing. 50%. So it looks like a full flash is probably going to take about 4 or 5 minutes to do, whereas a recal, I mean, is real quick. You're talking about probably less than a minute in total on a recal. %75. All right, ignition off. All right, and then you're going to hit the OK button. Wait 25 seconds again. Okay, so now let's make sure the car starts. All right, so car started fine. Let's go ahead and cut the car off. All right, now let me show you how fast a recal is. So the first time you're going to do a full flash. Subsequent times when he sends you updates, you can do a normal recalibration, and unless he states otherwise. If he does a lot of major changes, you'll probably want to do a full flash. So you can do the recals unless he tells you to do the full flash. So here's how quick a recal is. So we're on program 2 current, which is my current file. It could be named whatever you've named it. So here we go. Oh, manufacturer key. So I didn't have the key in, so I had to turn the key on. Now it's testing for the key. It's checking. And erasing. When it erases, it only erases what changes. So now it's flashing, and you can see it's much faster now. We're already at 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70, 80, 90, and done. So turn the ignition off again, press OK on the auto cal, and we wait 25 seconds again. So as you can see, a recal is much faster. All right, so now let's make sure the car is going to start again, just in case. All right, so now the car started, we're going to do a log. So we're going to go up. And you're going to click on record data. So you're going to hit OK. It's creating the file, starting scanner, and now you're logging. So you pull out onto the interstate or wherever you're going to do it. Someplace in Mexico, I guess, would be advised. And you're going to run yourself through the gears, 0 to 60, 0 to 100, whatever you're going to do. Please stay safe and be as legal as you can. You'll probably want to do a full out from 0 to 60, 0 to 100. You'll probably want to cruise around a little bit. That way he can get normal fuel trims and things like that. You can do, I think, about 10 minutes on a log. And I think it'll hold like 2 or 3 logs. I usually just go out, do about 5 to 10 minutes on a log, and whenever you're done, you just hit the back arrow to stop it. But let me show you what else you can do while you're in a log. You can scroll down and it'll tell you, how far into the log you are. It'll tell your RPM. I think that's your torque axle torque maybe, or something. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff on here. I don't really know what it is. I think that's throttle position, long-term fuel trims, trans torque. You'll notice most of this stuff is in metric, so spark advance, knock retard, intake air temperature, engine coolant temp, your MAP pressure, MAF pressure. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here. Okay, we're at the bottom there. Let me go back up here. I think this is your boost pressure here, but it's in kPa, it's not PSI, so you'd have to know the conversion. But anyway, so you scroll back up to the top, and you get to exit, hit OK. It's going to save the file, and once it's saved, you're done. Okay, so we can turn the car off. Okay, and we can unplug the AutoCal, and we'll go back inside and I'll show you how to email the logs in. Alright guys, we are back inside. So I need to plug in the AutoCal again. Alright, so let's open up EFI Live Explorer again. And let's go ahead and open up our BNR folder under logs, because that's what we're dealing with now. Okay, so under scan, that's where your log file is. So you're just going to basically do the same thing, drag and drop it into your logs folder. Logs are a lot smaller, so it doesn't take near as long. Okay, so then we're going to open Internet Explorer again, or Chrome, or whatever you use. Go to your mail client, compose a message to Jerry. Okay, log, data log. Let's name it data log. Here is my first data log. Okay, so we're going to attach a file. Let's go to logs, and mine was E78_0030. Yours, since it's the first one, will be 0001. And yet again, you can rename these, it doesn't really matter. So you're going to hit open. It's going to save it in, attach it to your email, and then you're going to send that to Jerry. Obviously, I'm not going to actually send it to him, but that's what you would do, and then you'd wait for him to send you a revision. So let me delete this draft again. And so you'd pull up your email from Jerry and download your newest revision. You go back over here and you can delete the log because you now have it saved in your logs folder, so you can delete that. And you go back to your tune folder and you can delete your current tune and upload whatever the new revision is. So once you do that, everything else is just in a big cycle. So you go back out to the car, you program the new tune, do another data log, come back in and email it to them, and it's just a cycle until you're comfortable with your tune or you're happy with it. And Jerry's happy with your logs, then you're good to go after that. As you can see, I mean, I was one of the first people to do EFI Live with Jerry, and if I show you my logs, I mean, and this is only half of them. I have an older file that has probably 2 times this in there. And I mean, you can see in my tunes folder, I've got tons of revisions, and this is probably not even half of them. This is just the newest ones that we did after an update from EFI Live. So guys, that's pretty much it. After you get comfortable with just doing the basics, you can do some more advanced stuff. If you open up EFI Live, well, actually, let's just do it from the log folder. So let's see here, I don't know why I did that. Okay, Bad News Racing folder, you go to your logs. So let's just open up a random log here. We'll do my newest one. It's not going to have anything crazy on it. It'll defaultly open with 7.5, and I'm okay with that because I like what it uses. So it's going to say your current log has more than 3,000 frames and may take some time. So I just hit yes, let it run through it, and I think we click on data. Yeah, okay. So in 7.5, the data, it's going to show your minimum and your average and your maximum of all the PIDs that Jerry looks at. Of course, mine's not going to show anything spectacular because I didn't actually do a log. But, I mean, you can see your torque PIDs in here. You can see if you had any knock retard. You can see your short-term fuel trims, long-term fuel trims, the duty cycle on the wastegate of the turbocharger, your boost pressure, all these sorts of things. To most of you, it's unless you're into tuning and learning about what these things mean, you're probably only going to know a few of these things. So this is just the basics. I mean, I come in here and I look for the torque, like delivered torque, or you can look at where's the other one? There was another one I used to look at quite a bit. It's been several months since I've even actually looked at these. I've not done an update in quite some time. The desired torque, that's what the ECU is commanding for torque. I think Jerry sets that to a really high number so that the car just does what it can. So that's pretty much that, and it's going to show your mass airflow in pounds per minute and grams per second. Actually, pounds per minute. That's air mass per cylinder. Anyway, so there's another way you can look at your logs that'll be a little more interesting to you. If you right-click on it and hit Open With, and we're going to open with, let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find where they put it on this computer. Actually, let's just open Scan and Tune. And we'll open our Bad News Racing folder and logs. And if we go and drag and drop our log into scan and tune, it'll pop up like this. So I just let it do the auto detect. It's already on E78. It's where it should be. So you just hit OK, and it's going to bring it up like this. So these are going to show real-time values. So if you hit play down here, I like to do playback in real time. That's this button here with a little clock. And then you hit play, it's going to show the different PIDs as it's going through the log here. You can also click on gauges, and it will physically show your RPMs, math, whatever you just decide to set these up at. You can actually right click on these and do gauge editor, and you can change what PID each gauge is looking at. A lot of people like to look at this way. I kind of like it in the charts because you can pause it, you can select certain areas. Let's see, I think you have to stop it to do that. Yeah, you can select a range, and it will tell you your maximum, minimums, and averages for different things. So, I mean, this is a really extensive tool. You're getting a lot for your money when you do the EFI Live. And it's all what you want to get out of it. If you don't want to mess with any of this stuff, you don't have to mess with any of this stuff. It's totally what you want to get out of it. If you're content with having Jerry look at your log and send you a recal, that's fine. If you want to see what your numbers are, you can look at them yourself. So that's pretty much it, guys. I don't think I've missed anything. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to hit me up on Facebook or the Gamma 2 page, or even comment on the YouTube videos. Have a good day. Hope this makes this a little easier on you. Anyways, I guess that's it.